Hey everyone, welcome back to Code with Poonam. It's day 82 of our 100 days of coding challenge in JavaScript. Today's challenge is all about to remove the duplicate values from an object in JavaScript. So let's proceed with this challenge and we will move towards our VS Code. Here in the VS Code, if we see, we have here our question along with the sample input and output, right? So let us read out the question. We have to write a JS function to remove the duplicate values from an object. And here we have our input and output, right? Now, first of all, let us come down and we will write here our important part of the question. So first of all, we are going to write here what JavaScript function, okay? Because we have to write a JS function. After that, what is the next important thing? That we have to remove the duplicate values from an object, right? So that also I will take it here and I'm going to put it over here, okay? Now, since we have to remove the duplicate values from an object, we will come at line number 7 and we will define our function name as what? Remove duplicates, okay? So I will write here what? Remove duplicates and I will put here our parenthesis, okay? So this will be our function name, okay? Let us come here to the input and output and we will understand how we are reaching to this particular output, okay? So here we have A:1, B:2, C:1, D:3 and E:2, right? So these are the 5 key and value pairs which is being given in the object, okay? Now in the output, what we have? A:1 we have, B:2 we have and D:3 we have, right? So that is what they have removed the duplicate values from an object, okay? Now let us see how they have removed, okay? So we will start from here, A:1. So what is the value here? 1 is the value. So let us check whether we have anywhere else 1 again repeated. So if you see here, we have here C:1. So if you see 1 is appearing twice, right? So only the first occurrence is going to be there. So that is why we get here what? A:1, whereas C:1 is removed, okay? Now let us go to the next key value pair. It is B:2. So what is the value 2? So let us again check whether that 2 value is being there in this object or not. We can see here it is there, E:2. So what is the first occurrence? It is B:2, right? So only this B:2 will be kept here. That is why we have A:1, B:2. Now if we move to the next one, C:1 is already removed because it was duplicate, right? Then we go to our D:3. Now this D:3 is unique, right? So it is going to remain as it is in our output. That is why you get here D:3. Now E:2 was what? It was a duplicate, right? So that is why it has been removed. So the final output is nothing but our A:1, B:2 and D:3, and that is how it is going to be there. So our value 1 appeared twice. So the first occurrence is kept, that is A:1. Our value 2 appeared twice. So only the first occurrence is kept, that is B. Then the value 3, that is unique, right? So that is why it remains as it is in the result. That is why we have D:3. So that is how we are getting our final output, okay? Now we have understood how we are reaching to this particular output. Now we will come down and we will write our approach, okay? So I will write here what? Approach. So to solve this particular challenge, we will be using here our set object. Now why there is a need of a set object, guys? Because JavaScript objects only ensure unique keys, not unique values. So we have to take and set object to keep track of the values, okay? So now what is our set object? It is a special JavaScript object that stores unique values only. It automatically removes the duplicate, which makes it perfect for this problem. So that is why we are going to use here set object, okay? So how we will be doing it? So first step is what? We are going to create a set, okay? So I will write it here. Now why we need a set? Because we want to keep a track of our unique values, okay? So for this, we are going to create a variable called as a unique value. So I will write here what? Unique values is equal to new and then set with a parenthesis. So this will help us to keep a track of what? Unique values, okay? So it will help us to keep the track of unique values. So I'll write it like this, okay? Now, After that, we are going to declare one more variable called as a result, and we are going to initialize it with an empty object. Okay. So why I am doing this? Because this variable we will be using to store our final output. Okay. So I'll write here store our final output. After that, what we are going to do, we are going to use a loop. Okay. So we have to iterate over an object. So what we will be using it here, we will be using our object dot entries. Okay. In the previous videos, we have used this object dot entries method. What it does, it returns an array, and inside that we will have a sub arrays, and that sub arrays will be what? It will be a key and value pair, right? So it gives me an array of our key and value pairs, right? So if we are considering this object, okay, so I will write here what? Obj is equal to this particular object. And if we are using our object dot entries method, okay, inside this we have to pass our obj, right? So what we will get? We will get here our array, and inside that it will be our a comma 1, right? And then what we are going to get? B comma 2, right? After that, what we are going to get? We will get here nothing but C comma 1, right? After that, what we are going to get? We'll get D comma 3, right? After that, what we have? Our last subarray we are going to write E comma 2, right? So this will be our final resultant after we use our object dot entries method, right? Now, inside our loop, we will be using our destructuring concept also, right? So I will just write here what? Destructuring it. So how we are going to use it then? I will write here what? Const, okay? And then in this, I am going to write here key comma value. And then right inside, we will have our first sub array. So I'll just take it and I'll put it over here, okay? Then what will be our key then? We will get our key as what? Our A, right? And then what will be our value? It will be nothing but 1. So this is the destructuring concept which we are going to do it for all of our sub arrays. Okay. So then finally, how we are going to write our loop? So we will write here what? For, and inside that we are going to write here what? Const key comma value I am going to write. Okay. After that we are going to write of, and then we are going to write here what? Object dot entries, and inside that we are going to pass our obj. Okay. So now in this flower braces, we are going to write a logic to remove the duplicates. Okay, so I'll just write it over here. Okay, now how we are going to do that? So we are going to keep a check that if that value is already present in the set, then we are not going to add up anywhere. If it is not present, that means it will be unique, right? And when it is unique, then you please add it to our set also, and also add it to our resultant object also, which we created here, right, to store our final output. That is what we are going to do. So how we are going to do here? First of all, we have to check that value is present or not, right? Correct. And if it is present, then we are not going to add. If it is not present, that means it is unique, right? So if it is unique, then you please add it to the set, okay? And also you add it to the resultant object, which we have created, okay? So that is what we have to do. So this will be our for loop, okay? And after that, we are just going to print our resultant object, okay? And that is where we will get our final object. That means we will get our final output, okay? Now we will have to see what we are going to write inside this our flower braces. So here we will be writing definitely our if condition, okay? And here in this if condition, we have to use here two methods of our set. So what are the two methods of set which we are going to use it? We will be using add method, and we will be using our has method also, okay? Now what does this methods do? So this method, add method, is going to add a value which we can see here. So it is going to add a value to the set, okay? If it exists, then it will not add. If it is not existing, then only it is going to add. Okay, so it keeps a check that also. Okay, so here if exist, then not added. Okay, and if it is not existing, then only it will add. Now what is this has method? This has method returns a boolean value. Okay, so I'll write here what boolean value. Now what boolean value? True and false, correct? So this is going to return us what? True or false. So if it is going to return true or false, then it is going to check something, right? So what it is going to check? It will check that value is present or not. Okay, so that value is present or not, that it is going to check, and it is going to return us a boolean value that is true and false. Now you will say how it will check the value. So in this parenthesis, we have to put the value. So whatever the value you will pass here, that it will add, and whatever the value you will pass it to the has, it is going to check, and it is going to return us a boolean value. Okay, so I will write here what value, and here as well value. Okay, now let us see how we are going to use this methods. Okay, so this has method returns me what? Boolean value, right? So I will just write here what? Present, and this one is going to give me true, right? If that value is present, right? So that means as per our logic, if it is true, then it should not add, right? Because we have said existing value should not be added, right? So existing, that means, right? That means don't add. So don't add means no execution here, right? So how we will be writing then this? So we will be taking help of our not operator. Okay. Now how we are going to use this not operator? So we are going to write here what? Not of true, suppose I get. Okay, then what it will be? It will be false, right? Then our if condition won't execute. That is what we want. Okay, and then we will come here down. Okay, now when it is not of false. Okay, so I will write here what? Not of false. So what we will get? True, right? That means our if condition is going to execute then. So I will write here, and then it is going to execute. That is what we want. So let us see how we are going to write then. So we will be writing here how our if condition will be there. Okay, so let me write it here, our if condition, and inside that not of, we are going to use our unique values. Okay, so unique values dot has, and then inside this we will pass our value to it. Okay, now if this turns out to be true, then we have to add it, right? So how we are going to add it then? We will be writing here our unique values only. So I'll take this unique values, and then unique values dot add I will write, and I will pass our value to it. Okay, after that, what we will do? We will come here, and we will also assign it to our resultant object, right? So I am going to write here result of key is equal to value. And hence it will get assigned at both the places. Then it can check, and it can give me again and again the output. Okay, and that is where after that we are going to print our final resultant. Okay, so this will be our logic which we are going to write it inside our for of loop. Okay, now let us implement the same approach inside our function. So I will write here what function, then I will write here what remove duplicates. Okay, and now let us quickly invoke it. So I will write here what remove duplicates, and to the we are going to pass our input object. Okay, so let us take this and we will pass it over here. Okay, and now let us come at line number 47 and receive it. So I will write here what obj, and we are just going to console it. So console.log of obj. Now let us see in the terminal. So I'll write here what node 82 challenge, and we will hit enter. We got here our final output, right? That means this input, whatever we are passing, it is accepting inside our function, right? Now let us come down and declare our variables. Okay, so I will write here what let unique values is equal to new set. Okay, and then parenthesis. Okay, after that let result correct, that also we have to do it, and we have to initialize it with an empty object, right? This is going to store our unique values, and finally on the basis of that we can check it, right? And this we will put here our final output. Okay, now let us come here, and we are going to do our iteration. Okay, so we will use our for of loop. So I will write here what const, then key comma value, right? Destructuring, and then of, and then we are going to write here what? Object dot entries, correct? And to this we will pass our obj, right? Now let us write our logic inside this to remove the duplicates, right? So we will write here what? Our if condition. Then we are going to write here what? Not of unique values, right? Dot has method we will use of our set object, right? And to this I am going to pass our value, okay? Now inside this what we are going to write? If it turns out to be true, right? I have explained you here what it is going to do, right? And then we have to add it here, right? So unique values dot add, that means if it is not present, it is going to give me false. What is not of false, it is going to give me true, right? And therefore we have to add it, right? So we are going to add our value, right? And then we have to store this inside our result also, right? So I will write here what result of key, okay, is equal to value, okay? That is what we are going to do. And after that, we are going to come here finally log our result. Okay, so I will write here console.log of result, and now we will just clear the terminal and we will write here what? Node 82 challenge, and we will hit enter. So we got here our final output, removed duplicates, right? A colon 1, B colon 2 and D colon 3, right? That is our final output, okay? Now, since we have got our final output and we have understood how to solve this particular question, so now what we will do, we will have a quick recap of this question, okay? So let us come above and we will read out the question. What is our question? We have to write a JavaScript function to remove the duplicates from an object, right? And here, if we see, we have our input and output, right? Then we came at line number 7 and 8. We broke the important part of this question and we wrote it over here, right? And we also defined our function as what? Remove duplicates, right? Then we understood how we are reaching to this output, right? And that is why on the basis of that, we wrote our approach, right? So in the approach, majorly, we are using here set object, right? Other things we are also using the iteration, that is loop, condition, but everything revolves around our set object, right? So what is a set? A set is nothing but a special JavaScript object that stores the unique values and removes the duplicates, right? And here, why we are using a set object? Because JavaScript objects only ensure unique keys, not unique values. So we have to use here set object to keep the track of the values, okay? So what we have done here, we have created a set, right? That is what we have done. We created two variables, unique values and result. Here, this is going to keep a track of our unique values, and this one is going to store our final resultant, right? Now, in the loop, we have to use what? Destructuring concept and object.entries method also, right? So that is what we have understood and we have clearly done here, right? Then we came down and we wrote our loop and we understood that inside our loop, what logic we are going to write, correct? So here we have to check for the duplicates. If a value is already present in the set, then we are not going to add it. If a value is not present, then we have to add it to our set object, and also we will have to add it to our resultant object also, right? That is what we have done. And then finally, we have to print our resultant object, right? That will be our final output. So inside this, we understood, right, that we have to use a if condition and we will have to use our set methods, correct? So we understood we have to use here add method to add up a value to the set, right? So it adds a value to a set. If a value already exists, it won't be added again, okay? Now, what is this has method going to do? This has method checks if a value exists, it returns true. If it doesn't exist, it is going to return me what? False. So on the basis of this, we wrote our condition and we used our not operator to solve this problem, right? So that is why we have done here usage of our not operator, and then we added to the unique values set object, and also we added the key and value pair to our resultant object also. Then we wrote our function with a function name remove duplicates, and here we were receiving what? Obj as a params, right? Then at line number 48, we just consoled our obj, right? And we saw that in our terminal that we were receiving our input object, right? Then at line number 50 and 51, we declared the two variables, right? So one is going to store the unique values and one is going to store our final output, right? Then at line number 50 to 58, we did our iteration, right? And we wrote our if condition also, that if a value is already there in set, then don't add. If a value is not there in our set object, then you please add it, and you also add the key value pair to our result object, right? Then at line number 59, we printed our final resultant object, right? And at line number 61, we just invoked it, remove duplicates, right? And we passed our input object and we got our final output, right? If I write here node 82 challenge and hit enter, we will get our final output. Okay, so let us just comment this line number 48 and clear it one more time and rerun it. Then if I write here what node 82 challenge and hit enter, we will get our final output. Okay. Now let us comment this line number 48 and come here and we will rerun it one more time. So we will clear it up first and we will write here what node 82 challenge and hit enter. We got here final object, right? So that is nothing but our final output. Okay. And this was our question was demanding from us. Okay. Now I will tell you guys why this challenge is important. This challenge strengthens our JavaScript fundamentals by making efficient use of set for handling unique values. It also improves problem solving skills and is useful for data cleaning, form handling, and preventing duplicate entries in data sets. And that's all for today, guys. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coding challenges, and stay consistent, keep improving, keep growing, and I will see you in another challenge. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.